Hi, this very much is Let's Talk Games episode 24. What a journey we've been on. But we made it. To your left, you have Dan. Hi. Welcome to the event. And to your right, you have Jamie. How are you, sir?
I'm an illusion.
Yes,
not
aren't
really
we all?
I'm a mirage.
Yes. Figments of everyone's imagination. And I am, thankfully, the only Uncle Chunt on Earth, as far as I'm concerned.
AKA the man in the middle.
I was going to say it. I was waiting for the right moment.
Yeah, well, just to respect that and put a button in it, I'm going to buy a shirt, customize the label on it, man in the middle, and I'll wear it on every episode if I have to.
Good plan.
Yeah, so today, bit of a fun one, I think. I think we're going to have some interesting stuff here. We're going to be discussing that leaked Avengers roster, woo, for the game that's coming out. The Microsoft Flight Simulator. Apparently it's awesome. Ghost of Tsushima dropped some surprise multiplayer DLC, I think it is. And then we're going to have a bit of fluff at the end about what game we wanted that deserves a sequel that never got one. Bit of fun. So to start off with, as usual, what have we been playing? Start with Dan. Go.
We should also probably mention that we're shooting this much earlier in the week than what we normally do. So by the time this comes out, if there's any news from Wednesday onwards, we probably missed it.
Yeah, tough titty.
In terms of what I've been playing, it's only been a few days, but I finished Modern Warfare. That was a great game. I had such a good time with it, and they're setting up for a sequel, which no doubt they will make. They're kind of resting on their laurels a bit. I was kind of hoping they would go more with new stuff, and they're bringing back some things from the original Modern Warfare. And I'm like, well, you could have, give me something new. I've already played those Modern Warfares. But that being said, first Modern Warfare is, 13 years old at this point? So there might not be people around that were playing them back then. So I get that as well. And then, just a little bit of 2K just to... because it's the start of the playoffs today with the NBA, and so I got that energy to play some basketball, which I can't go outside for at the moment. So I played 2K instead.
Nice, very good. Well, that sounds delightful. And Jamie, how about you?
I'm trying to think what I've played since like the 3 days since we last spoke about it. Have I played anything? I played some more Avengers. That beta finished over the weekend, obviously. I think I clocked up 7 hours in the end. I
played that too.
Yeah, Dan, we'll go back to you so you can give us some thoughts, because you hadn't played it by the point we last spoke about it. I'm still quite high on it in terms of where it is, but I'm also cautious because I can see it getting boring quick. Obviously, one of the topics today is about the heroes that are going to be coming. So I don't know. I'm really on the fence again. Like, having really committed to the other missions you could do, so not the story beats, like just the replayable stuff. Feels so much like Warframe, but it's nowhere near as smooth moving as Warframe is. Like Warframe, you can belt through a mission in like a minute, because the movement and the combat is so fluid and quick. I know the Avengers obviously isn't supposed to be like that. It did prompt me to watch Civil War again, though. I was like, I want to watch an Avengers-y type film. I haven't watched Civil War for ages, so I watched that. But yeah, other than Avengers, I don't think I've even booted anything else since we last spoke. So yeah, that'll do me. Dan, let's go back to you for your thoughts on Avengers.
Yeah, so I didn't get all the way through the beta. I kind of got a personal call through it, which wasn't good news. But so what I played for was through the tutorial, where you play as each character for a little bit. Then I played through the next section where you mainly play as Hulk and a little bit as Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. And it was good. I liked playing around with each of the characters. I wish I had more time with each of the characters. I listened back to our podcast during the week, and I agree with a lot of what you guys said in terms of each of the characters, in terms of favorites and things. Thor is easily so overpowered compared to the rest of them. Like, I feel like Thor, just by having the hammer, right? Even when we talk about these other characters that they're leaked to get into the game, Thor has like a gameplay mechanic which is different to everybody else's, like that operates just ridiculous. Everyone else will have something comparable with another character, and Thor is the one that has a hammer that you can recall back and you can do other things with. So that is more interesting as a gameplay. But yeah, I need to play a little bit more of it, but I'm not sold yet.
Thor is the god of thunder, after all.
He should be OP.
team.
Who was your favourite though? Dan?
Yeah, he is mighty.
Who did you actually enjoy? Who
My
did you enjoy
favourite?
playing the most? Yeah.
I started getting used to Hulk when playing through that little section. That's when but when I started playing more with Hulk, I went, I wish I had this amount of time to spend with like each of the Avenger characters, so I could learn what their ultimates are and what each of their special abilities are. But I'll stick with Thor at the moment. Thor's my favorite at the moment.
Oh yeah, cool. Well, I've had a bit of an eclectic week of games since we last spoke. Just tonight, actually. I'll just start backwards. Before we jumped on here, I booted up Double Dragon Neon. It's on Game Pass, and I've always wanted to play it because I'm still on that Streets of Rage high at the moment. And I think I got like 10 minutes in. It's oh shit, all right. But it felt all right. Can't remember if the old Double Dragon felt as slow as this one though. It does feel a bit slow, but I'm very keen to get through that. Looks like a bit of fun. And then before that, I actually booted up Override Mech City Brawl. I've had my eye on that for a good while now, and surprise, surprise, it's one of the Games with Gold titles this month. And I was like, oh yeah, sweet, all right. So I gave that a go, and I played that for a good couple of hours. It's a bit of fun. It's like, it reminds me of ARMS a bit, where your top four shoulder buttons are like your different limbs. You got your arms on top and your legs at the bottom. You got different combos that you can do there, and your other face buttons for specials and stuff. And yeah, I had a really good time as a campaign with it. It's a fairly basic game, but I'm surprised at how long I actually played it. So I'm keen to finish the campaign at least and keep going. And it doesn't cost me anything, so that's great. And before that, scaling back, was Fall Guys. I was saying to Jamie just before, like, this deserves to be on everything. It's a lot of fun. It's like annoyingly so, to the point where you get so frustrated playing it because you get booted off, or you don't qualify or reach the end in time or whatever, and someone shoves you out the way, or just the level is killing you inside, but you just keep going back for more. It's one of those simple premises, but heavily addictive. So I'm keen to go back to that. And Jamie made the note that it's on PC, so I don't have to have so much remorse for trading in my PS4 tomorrow. And speaking of that, going back again, is God of War. I played some of that. Look, I got up to the point where you've beat, what's his name? The first dude? You got that epic fight outside of Kratos' house? Yeah, Boulder, him. And you snap his neck and you go back to your son. And I went on a bit after that. But I just couldn't... I'm invested in the story and the characters and just the way it looks, the presentation, everything. Everything is just top tier. But it's the combat that just kills it for me, unfortunately. Like, I can see why it's fun and I can see why people enjoy it. But it's just, it feels clunky to me. It doesn't feel as responsive or as action heavy as I would have preferred. Like, I really love the original trilogy, and I felt myself wanting to go back to that, which is unfortunate, but who knows? Maybe I'll get a PS5 down the line and it'll be backwards compatible, or maybe it'll be another one of those games that reaches PC and I'll play it there. So yeah, I've kind of had my fill. The other games that I bought, there's PC versions of it, so I'm not too remorseful in trading in my PS4. So yeah, I've been pretty busy this week. It's probably the most games I've played in a week recently. That's me. So I guess we'll just roll on straight up. Continuing on that Avengers conversation, we've had a leak occur And who knows if any of this is true, but everybody's running with it. And there's some interesting picks, and some of it makes sense, and some others I don't think make sense at all. I would have made different choices. So we'll just run through. I mean, you guys are obviously aware of the list that's come out. It's about 15 or 17 characters or whatever that people have been throwing around. I'll just go through the list real quick. Ant-Man, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Falcon, Hawkeye, Hulkbuster, Kate Bishop, which is Hawkeye's daughter, Marvel, Mockingbird, which is like an equivalent to Black Widow, Quake, no idea, Scarlet Witch, She-Hulk, Vision, War Machine, Wasp, and Winter Soldier. So those are the ones. Some make sense and some others. So I want to go through this list with you. Like, the common thread I'm feeling here is that they're all MCU related. So they're not really going too off kilter with the choices here, which, you know, it's a safe bet. Even though some of these names I'm not familiar with, the connection to them seems to be a smart move. I just want to throw it back to you guys initially, like, because I'm a big comics guy. Like, I know a lot of these characters over like decades, and there are a lot of people out there that their first introduction to these characters are these movies. So this list, when you see it, I'll start with you, Dan. How much of this surprises you, and how much is this like, yeah, that's solid? Like, what do you think?
It's solid. I don't think there's many bad characters in there. I think it's kind of safe, and it kind of makes you think. When we played Spider-Man, or when you guys played Spider-Man earlier in the year, it felt like Marvel gave Insomniac like free reign to like tell the story you want to tell type thing. This list, if it is true, there's a couple that I'm not sure why they would be there, like Hulkbuster, because we know Hulkbuster is one of like the ultimates that we saw in like one of the trailers. So I don't know why you would have a Hulkbuster character when it's already one of the ultimates for Iron Man. That doesn't make sense to me. But when I look at this, I'm like, I thought it looks like they're reading out the release schedule for the next MCU phase. You know, like it's you've got the upcoming movies. You got Ant-Man, Wasp are in there for a movie. Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, all confirmed. And then the rest are all Disney Plus shows. You've got Hawkeye and Kate Bishop for the Hawkeye series, Falcon and the Winter Soldier together. You got Vision and Scarlet Witch. You got the She-Hulk TV show. Mockingbird and Quake are probably the two most popular characters on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel is a super interesting one, but I feel like that might be more maybe story focused to bring in Captain Marvel like later on, just by the way her origin is normally set. So that might be the case. The only thing that really disappoints me is like you look at these characters and you see Hawkeye and Kate Bishop and you're like, well, they're pretty much going to play exactly the same. You see like Winter Soldier, Black Panther, they're going to play very similar to Captain America. War Machine is going to play like Iron Man. Like they all just feel like an alternate skin of another character that's already there. Captain Marvel and Vision will play probably very similar. I was kind of hoping to see something real different. I think Wasp is really different for things we talked about in our text message when we were talking about who would we want, because I like the idea. I was really impressed in the Avengers beta playing as Kamala Khan and how the animation goes with her growing and stretching and that. I thought it was really well done to have a character model be able to do that. And so I thought, that'd be cool if you could shrink down and you could fly and then grow and then shrink again and do all that. That would be interesting to me. But so many of these just feel like they're going to be different skins, which is why I looked down the list and I thought of Thor and I'm like, none of these people have a weapon, pretty much. Like that they would let go of.
A lot of these suffer the sidekick legacy from comics lore. You know, there's always one popular character hits it off and they get a sidekick that's similar. Which, you know, that's just how it is. But Jamie, you see this. I know we've talked at length between three of us about what we'd like in this game, and you've kind of had your choices of characters, and I think we'll touch on that in a minute as well, because I've got some that I'd like to throw in the ball there. So your thoughts when you see this list, does any of it appeal to you at all?
I mean, it's pretty close to the list that I sent you guys the day before when we found out that there was going to be 22, and I was like, this would be the 22 that I'd pick. I'm pretty sure I was fairly close to that. But yeah, there's some interesting choices there. Winter Soldier interests me. I'm wondering if, again, it's quite obvious, as you said, like some of them are going to just be reskins of other characters in the game. Does he wind up playing like Captain America? Do you know what I mean? That's probably the expectation. That's how I'd feel. Scarlet Witch, I said to you guys, was my number one pick that I wanted in the game. Her or Doctor Strange. So yeah, I've got some characters there that I'd quite like, and again, it's using that kind of ranged kind of magic elements. And Dan, I know you said to me like, oh, that opens up too many doors with magic, maybe with Doctor Strange, but they're obviously going down that route. We're gonna get it, kind of the ranged magic attacks, and yeah, they're the two for it. So Dan nailed it, to be honest. I think exactly the same. They're going to be a lot of reskins going on in there. Some of them are probably going to be quite awful, and I hope that they do come with some story beats, because otherwise it is just a straight up, here's this character's moveset on another skin, which I don't consider a character. I consider it a skin. So yeah, some of the more nuanced characters in there that will have different movesets, as I said. So Scarlet Witch, Vision, they'll have, you know, different movesets. Captain Marvel will have different movesets. I'm not even sure what Marvel is, in all honesty. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff going on there. Black Panther, I think, could be quite good. I thought that would have opened the door for a Wolverine entry as well, because you'd imagine they'd be quite similar with their claw attacks. But yeah, that's the only person missing, I think. I expected Wolverine. You know, we've got Scarlet Witch, who's technically from the X-Men universe, but now is, you know, so much more renowned as a part of the MCU. So yeah, nice to see her. She would have been my number one pick. So happy days for me.
Nice. Yeah. Well, this all screams corporate synergy, really. Like Dan touched on it with the whole Disney Plus stuff coming out and all that content, and it's a, you know, no brainer, but not many risks that I expected, that I was hoping for.
I will point out, no Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so
going to be its own game.
It's clearly not going to. We could say it's grounded outside of the cosmic universe, but then if you've got Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel, they're both part of that same universe, right?
Yeah.
So
I thought they were I didn't really expect any Fantastic Four, X-Men or anything like that yet, but yeah, I thought not having any Guardians, was an interesting. Well, maybe the way that they're going with the story for years to come might be pointing us a different direction.
The omission of Guardians, they're getting their own game that's in development. So there's probably a reason why they're not there. Well, yeah. And you wouldn't be surprised maybe if there's some high-level function here of crossover, potentially, depending on how the game goes. Who knows? But the length this game's been in development for, it makes sense why there wouldn't be any X-Men in here, because that Fox merger is only a fairly recent thing, and again, the reintegration of the X-Men and the mutants is still a relatively new thing in the Marvel comics as well. But I've got some other picks that I would like to throw out there. The comic fans watching, Hercules. Now you might laugh, but Marvel has their own Hercules. And he's a very interesting character, quite funny, and I think he'd be working quite well with Thor, like in that aspect, and just another powerhouse to add to the roster. Black Knight is a bit of a deep cut, but I don't know much about him, but he looks visually cool, and I think he could work well. I don't know how they'd want to ground his outfit, but I'll leave it up to the viewers to Google who the hell Black Knight is, but he's pretty cool. Now there's a Miss Marvel, the original one, I want in there, the Carol Danvers Miss Marvel in the iconic black and gold suit. It's just the best. That's just my guilty pleasure I'd like to see in this game. Well, Carol Danvers, obviously, Miss Marvel goes into Captain Marvel. That's it's part of her legacy. She-Hulk, duh. Like we've already got that on there, but I want She-Hulk in there because she's just a very good character, you know. And I think it just the play, like if you have them both on the same team, like Ultimate Alliance, depending on the characters you choose, it unlocks different conversational moments in the game. And I think those two, that has some cool moments. Wonder Man is a thing. Bit of a beat stick, nothing like Wonder Woman at all, but he's a bit of a deep cut character, and I hope he's a bit controversial as well in some of the stories that he's in, so it's probably why he might not be in there, but could be a cool choice. Mr. Fantastic is a massive omission from this Marvel game, from the first family, Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four. You know, and I know, like we discussed with X-Men, it's a relatively new thing than the Fox merger. They just got them back. So I don't expect them to be in there anytime soon. And clearly Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan is the proxy, Mr. Fantastic. Nova. Now, Nova is, if you think of the Green Lantern Corps from DC, it's essentially the same thing. It's the Nova Corps, and they've been introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe already, like the Galactic Space Cops, basically. He's a very cool character. I want to see that. He's a powerhouse, visually stunning and all that kind of stuff. Now, the next two are like the Superman types, which I think, you know, would be the more powerhouse on Thor's level. You got Hyperion and Sentry. Sentry, I doubt will ever make it into this game or a Marvel cinematic property because he's very dark. He's got split personalities. He takes drugs to control his, let's say, well, he's got some dangerous personality in him, and when he unleashes himself, he turns into Sentry, and he's like, you know, the power of 1,000 suns and all this kind of shit. And he rips like Carnage apart, and, you know, toe to toe with the Hulk. And but it's a bit of a controversial character, like most of these Marvel characters are in the actual comics. But Hyperion is essentially a cookie cutter Superman. The origin is the same. The whole shot off from a planet, dying planet, you know, lands on Earth, powers, same powers as Superman, has a spit curl and a cape and all that. But he's like yellow costume and stuff. So that could be pretty interesting to fly around as a character like that. Like if you look at that gameplay footage of one of those missions with Thor flying around on the you know, fighting the robots and stuff, oh, just like, goddamn, that'd be pretty fantastic. But I think those ones there, they're a bit of a mixed bag. And if you sprinkle them through and get rid of some of the other ones, I think it'd be a bit more of an interesting one. I probably assume you guys have no idea who any of those are for the most part. But for the comic viewers,
I know them all.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Very good.
Yeah, so I definitely don't know all of them. There's a few there that I've never heard of. But there's a few that I have, and again, it touches on that. I'm staying away from the cosmic universe because quite a few of your choices there are cosmic side, and they'd break the fucking game. Let's be honest. Yeah, they would. If you've got Hyperion,
the one I know we got to move on, so I'm just going to say the one that I would really want, and I thought would be great in terms of going around the world and doing like missions for yourself and whatnot. The Punisher, that would be so awesome having the Punisher in there, like even as an adversary to these people, but you're still playing as him. That'd be cool. Anyway,
yeah. Might be a bit too violent, maybe. This new Disney World.
You can make him as violent as you need to.
Yeah, true. All right. It just won't be like Netflix Punisher, that's all. But yeah, let us know in the comments below if you have any recommendations for yourself or what changes you would make. Nice. Cool, Tiddlies. And yeah, let us know what your choices are. I'm interested to know as a comic nerd. So we'll move on. The next topic is one that's going to appeal to me and my sensibilities, which is the Microsoft Flight Simulator and its association to Xbox. So it's come out to rave reviews, and I had a look at Metacritic just before, and the top like 6 or 8 kind of main ones on the screen are like a few hundreds and a few 90s, and it cuts off at an 80. So it's got this #1 award, best PC game of 2020, and everybody's loving it. And you see some Twitter responses saying, you know, I've needed this, you know, or this is just what I wanted. You know, I'm surprised actually, but I don't think I should be, because you see these games like Truck Simulator and PC Simulator and Goat Simulator, you know, like, and they hit their stride and they find a fan base. And Flight Simulator hasn't been a thing for ages. I remember playing one on not Windows 95 or something back in the day. So to see this happen, to come out, and it's getting some overly favorable reviews, it's great. And I think Microsoft also needed it, considering all the news that's been going on. I have all intentions of playing it, but I think we'll start off from the other side again. And Dan, your thoughts? Have you ever played Flight Simulator, and are you surprised?
Not Flight Simulator, but I love simulator games. And when I remember seeing this at, I think it was an E3 when the trailer came out, I went, "Oh, I would love to hang out in that thing for just hours." As I said to you guys, I'd want to fly over my house, over to yours, Chant, and then fly across across the country and see Jamie's house. Because apparently, the models and everything of the actual real world renders is actually pretty impressive. And if this runs as well as it does on PC on the Xbox One, this essentially, if it's on Metacritic at least, it would be just, if it got a 93, it would be the best Microsoft published game on the console if it kept this just one above for Forza Horizon 4. So I think that's an awesome win. I think it's something different to have in your library if you're Microsoft. And yeah, I thought that was cool to see all these reviews and all these videos coming out this week of people just flying and doing random shit. It was great.
That's awesome. Well, but before I throw it over to Jamie, there's a quote here for Phil Spencer when he was interviewed about this and how pleased he is. He says, I will say a game that just every time I see it is so stunning is Microsoft Flight Simulator. For us at Xbox and Microsoft Gaming, Flight Sim has a long history inside the company. The studio at Azobo, I think it is doing amazing work on that. It's such a technological powerhouse that a game with what it's using in terms of cloud compute to deliver the experiences they have, and I think that game on Series X is going to be just jaw-dropping, and I can't wait to experience that on the next gen. So there's actually no date coming out at the moment that's announced for when it comes out on Series X, but it is confirmed to be for Xbox One, and it's already out on Game Pass for PC. So, I mean, everybody's playing it right now, as we've just discussed. I think that's an interesting quote because we already knew that was coming out for PC. But this is, I think, for me anyway, this is the first time I've specifically seen him mention Series X. So, Jamie, you're the PC guy here. Your thoughts on this?
Got it installing at the minute. I set
Oh
the
my
install.
God.
I set the install going this morning. Yeah, I want to see what that thing looks like on on an OLED screen. Flying over, God knows. I'm going to set the accessibility options as the most accessible you possibly can. Yes. I've got no interest in actually doing the simulation side. I just want to see it as a visual experience. But yeah, I've got it installed at the minute. But I'm just pleased for Microsoft. Like Dan said, it's nice to see them having like some real success with a first party game within the company. It is storied. Was it Windows 94, 95 that had the very first flight simulator? So it's kind of coming full circle, and that the tech's there now to make this game and make it perfect. Do you know what I mean? You said using satellite imagery. I mean, you can Google that yourself. Go to Google Earth and pull all these things and see just how accurate everything is. And if they're streamlining technology and assets like that, then I'm expecting to have my jaw dropped. But yeah, I won't play it past that. I'm just happy for them in general. It's not my cup of tea. I don't really dig simulators. Like the thought of truck simulator and somebody just driving a truck around like a whole country just baffles me. It's like, you want to be stuck in traffic. Like, how is that appealing to someone? But I guess to each their own. People, yeah, Dan, I think you said to me like people find it therapeutic. I was like, I just find it fucking infuriating. But yeah, happy days for Microsoft. I don't really have any other thoughts there, mate.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, look,
you don't drive around Grand Theft Auto and stop at the red lights and turn on the green lights.
No, I crash into absolutely everything and mow people down like you're supposed to in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for being sensible in that game. Well, this one in particular, I think I'm actually very excited to give it a go.
I'm excited that you froze.
Yep. Yeah. I just spasmed myself out. So yeah, I'm keen to play it. Just something a bit chill. I seem to be falling myself into these kind of less intensive games, let's say. So I think this would be nice, just to chill, put some music on, and just fly around and visit places I've never been to that I'll never get to see. Particularly, who knows when the international borders are going to be opening up again, you know? So if you just want to pretend to have a holiday somewhere, just throw on Flight Simulator and fly there, and then go to YouTube and open up some 4K feed of the place that you want to go to.
I'll try my hardest not to spam you guys with photos over the next few days of, you know.
Yes.
Do what makes you happy.
Yeah,
lovely beachly surroundings.
Don't mind seeing you happy, mate. It's all good. But yeah, look, I think this is great. Hopefully they keep the good things rolling. And apparently this same article in Forbes was saying that apparently there's a showcase, another Xbox showcase next week. Like, I knew that August was a touchstone, but they've been really quiet. But this guy on Forbes, this article was like yesterday, and while they had this interview with Phil on there. So that's news to me as well. I didn't see that. I honestly thought they were just going to skip August. You know,
they'll do something with Gamescom. Sure.
Yeah. There's also rumors that there's a thing called an X. What is it? It's like a play on unboxing, but Xboxing or something. Yeah, where they're rumored that the Series S might happen. So
all the hardware stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish they'd come out and confirm some stuff. You know?
I think they've got to now. Like, we're getting too close to launch period, and you're starting to see like the general, not just enthusiasts now, like the general populace are starting to get frustrated by it. You know, like mainstream media outlets are now starting to post things going, hey, did you know that these companies are releasing these products in like 2 months? And we still have no idea what they're going to cost. We still haven't seen the back of what a PlayStation 5 looks like. We've seen nothing but pre-renders of it. We haven't seen the physical box. It's all getting just a bit out of hand now. Like, and if Microsoft need to blink first, I think Phil's probably just going, look, blink, and if they come out with some ludicrous pricing, we will just go, look, we've heard the market demand, this is the new price. It wouldn't surprise me if they did that. So yeah, hurry the hell up with it. So if it's next week, great. If we get to September with no prices for either of these consoles, I think then that's when the gamers TM are going to outrage.
Yes. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm keen just to know a price. Like, we're seeing the $600 mark in US being thrown around the retailers, like, for placeholder prices, but are they just placeholder? Like, do they know or what? And I imagine the retailers will be getting annoyed too. Pre-orders, man, like, you can't do it yet because you can't put up a pre-order of something you don't know what the price is. But like, just for me, like, tomorrow I'll be getting like $540 worth of store credit at EB when I trade in my Switch and PS4. So like, I'm ready and waiting to throw down my pre-order any minute now. Phil, come on, Phil wants his Series X.
I don't think if we get to September, doesn't that makes it like single-digit weeks to the presumed launch, right?
If the rumors are November 6th, we're super close.
It's like 11 weeks now,
that's
or
definitely
something,
single
isn't it?
digits,
which is outrageous. Yeah. 11 weeks away from launch, and retailers are going, this is just placeholder pricing. I think for placeholder pricing in Australia when this current gen launched was $1,000 for each. That was that was what came out, wasn't it? I remember being there and we were all like, Jesus Christ, they can't be that much. And they ended up being about half of that, didn't they? There was like sort of $500-$600.
$550 for Xbox One.
Yeah, so like
those pre-orders were also in June.
True. Yeah, they were much earlier on. So yeah, but anyway, we've discussed that at nauseum. Just hurry the fuck up with it, basically.
I know, right? Well, look, we talked a bit longer than I expected about the flight simulator as well, like, for what it is. It's not much gameplay in there. Like, well, if you're an enthusiast, whoa, hang on. If you're an enthusiast, there's a lot. but if you're like the rest of us, who's just going to like crank it down, like Jamie said, like, that's what I'm going to be doing. I don't have time to worry about all that shit. Let's get extra fluffy now. Let's just settle down, get some fluffiness happening. We all have those games that we loved over time, and maybe not everybody else loved it, and therefore it didn't get a sequel. What we're going to do now is suggest a game each, and if we have time, maybe another. But what top games have you played in your life? If you had to choose one right now, and you're like, God damn, I would love a sequel to come out for that tomorrow, what would that be? I think I might just start off by setting the mood on this one with myself. I'd have to go, the easy one for me would be Justice League Heroes, but I'm going to go a bit more adventurous because that's just a no-brainer. Particularly after playing Avengers, God damn it, give me a Justice League up my ass. The other one I want is Jade Empire. I want a sequel to that tomorrow. It's an original Xbox game on the original Xbox, funnily enough. And I don't know if, I'm not entirely sure. I think you can get it on Steam and all that kind of stuff now, but that was really great. I really enjoyed it. It's like Middle Eastern, like Chinese kind of theme, fantasy realm, BioWare. You know, it's like around that era of KOTOR, Star Wars games that everybody loves back then. And they went off and did their own Jade Empire. It's a very good game. I don't know a lot of people that have played it, but I have it over there and I'm keen to hit into it another time. And it's like Xbox One X enhanced and stuff. So, you know, it has its fans, and clearly Microsoft are appreciative of that as well. So, yeah, if I had to really choose to really pick something and make it an Xbox exclusive, that would be another one up their sleeve. And maybe just, I don't know, BioWare, I don't know if they own the IP or if it's Microsoft or what, but, you know, I think they could just, all their studios that they have now, the RPG people that they've bought, just go, look, do this. Let's do another one. You know, people like it. Make it happen. It's a beautiful game too for its time. It looks stunning on Xbox One X. If you look up some 4K footage of it, it shouldn't look that good, but it does. So yeah, that would be my pick. So now that I've set the mood, I'm going to move it back over to Dan, as usual, as my first left to right on my screen. So Dan, take the reins.
All right. So I had three. I'm going to go with the game that came out in 2011, LA Noire.
Oh, yes.
This is such an interesting game in terms of like history of how it's been perceived, like after the fact and when it came out, because there's so many, in terms of trying to figure out how a game operates, you can figure that out in LA Noire pretty quickly, like with the facial animations, because it's like, are they lying? And then they're just making really obvious facial animations. And I feel like time and technology is only going to get better to do that type of stuff. And normally with Rockstar stuff, because they published a game, they didn't make it though. Team Bondi made it, and then they closed down. But apparently they are back open again. Oh. And it's not a game that Rockstar have just left to the side. Like, they did the VR case files for it. They brought it to Switch. Like, it's a game that they are continually putting out there in front of people. So I don't think they're done with it. And I hope they make a sequel to it, because I reckon you could do really cool stuff. I loved going around in the I think it was 40s and 50s, like solving crimes and trying to put things together. Like, it was a high budget version of all the other those type of investigation games that you see, and I really liked it. I don't know if it needs the Grand Theft Auto driving around with, but you know, be responsible, don't hit people. But yeah, that would be my number one pick. I would definitely take a sequel.
That's great. I approve of that. I really enjoyed that game. Very, very good. Jamie, yours.
I'm going to 2004. I'm going deeper on the cuts. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2.
Oh, wow.
Now, the Baldur's Gate games, the mainline ones, never really got me. But the Dark Alliance games were much more sort of ARPG focused, which I've discussed ad nauseum is the type of game I like to play. You know, very loot based and building your character up to hit the next kind of levels. That blew me away, like, as however old I would have been in 2004. Just the depth of it, I was like, wow, like, this is pretty cool. And I remember them, I think they announced a 3 that should have been coming to, I think it was PlayStation 3 or 4. Like, I can't remember back, but it never got made, basically. It just didn't happen. So I know Baldur's Gate 3 is happening. That's a much more traditional Baldur's Gate game. I think with that property that they got there, like the whole universe and the worlds are so built up and so dense, like you could easily make a third installment of this and just either pick it up where you left off or give it a spiritual reboot or something. But the characters in that game, the combat in that game was so like quick and fluid for its time as well. I think this was playing on like a PS2, original Xbox, and a GameCube. Like that's the type of tech that we're talking. So yeah, that'd be my pick. I'd want to go back there. Did either of you two play that by interest? I know it's quite a deep one.
Oh, I've got one on my Xbox over the shelf. I can't remember which one it is. It's Baldur's Gate.
Too deep for me.
What? No.
Much too deep for me.
Oh my god.
But that's what I mean. The Dark Alliance games are not that deep.
No.
I think sort of like a Diablo-esque type of experience, like that. It's deep if you want it to be, but you can get by just playing through the story in the game. And the story from memory was really, really good.
Again, they have a massive fan base.
Yeah, the whole Baldur's Gate thing does. That's why they're kind of finally doing 3, I guess. But no, the original mainline ones never did it for me. So yeah, Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance, bring it back.
Nice. Very good. Well, we've got like maybe 4 minutes. Let's squeeze in another one. I've got another one. Let's make it to the 45. Too Human. It's a 360 exclusive that came out and just died for a number of reasons, but it was set up to be a trilogy and I want it. It's like a futuristic, cybernetic Norse mythology epic, and I really enjoyed for what it was. It was very, very rough, but the concept and everything about it was amazing. It was just executed poorly, but I'd love to see a return to that and to finish it if we can. So that's my next one. Dan, quick shotgun. What do you have? Quick.
I don't care. This game has a 3 next to it. I believe this was a soft reboot before God of War was a soft reboot. Max Payne 3. I would love to have a sequel to that game. This is another Rockstar game, which I just realized. But that game had so much good stuff in it. I felt like a drink afterwards. Max goes through so much in that game, and I would. It doesn't even feel attached to the early thousands like Max Payne 1 and 2 because it's Rockstar and it's a totally different like feel to it. But I would take a sequel to that in a heartbeat.
Hell yeah, Max Payne's great. They should do more of that. I approve of that too. Now, Jamie, pressure's on. You had your one. You've got 3 minutes. You have another one?
You see my other one. I think I'm already getting it. Because it would have been Fable. That would have been the thing that I really wanted a sequel. It would have been my number one that I wanted a sequel to, but we know that that's now happening in terms of a spiritual reboot. A lot of my Alliance we got as well. Like I've been quite lucky with games that we would have got sequels to. And
well, that's good.
Do you know what? Mario 64. just to be ridiculous. I know Mario's obviously had different games, but a continuation of 64, maybe in that castle, new levels. I'd take that. Maybe if this Mario rumor for the end of the year is true, maybe there's something to that. The whole being re-released on Switch. Maybe there's something new in it.
I'd be up for that. Like a legit, no gimmicks, no bullshit, just a direct sequel to Mario 64. I
think it's pretty much still everybody's favorite Mario game of our generation, anyway. Like I know the younger generation probably think more to what was it called? Sunshine? Not Sunshine. The other one. No, Galaxy. Galaxy's super critically acclaimed, but for me, the OG is 64.
Hell yeah,
that's my era. So yeah, that.
I'd buy a third Switch for that.
I think I'd be on my third or fourth, actually. I think I'd be on my fourth.
You guys have issues.
Yeah, we do. But, I wouldn't have it any other way. So that was great. That was good. We're done. Just rounding up to the 45-minute mark. Look at that. Tidy as. So that was episode 24. Thank you, gentlemen. Dan, Jamie, wave to the camera as we say goodbye for this evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. Really enjoying doing this. And catch us next week. And keep an eye out for our new Downloading Soon series. Keep going, watching that, leaving comments. We like it. Interacting with peeps. My name's Uncle Chunt. Toodaloos.
Bye.
Wash your hands.
Fuck.